What if your laziness isn't the problem? What if it's actually a signal? Your brain telling you that the system you're using is broken. Japanese philosophy has a different approach. Instead of forcing yourself to work harder, you learn to protect your energy like a weapon. You focus on less, and somehow you end up accomplishing more than the people who never stop moving. 8 principles that will completely change how you think about productivity, starting with the one mistake draining you before the day even begins. Habit 1, the mental leak. Most people wake up with a full battery. By noon, they're empty, and they haven't even started the real work yet. Here's what happened. Before you even touched your to-do list, you made 100 tiny decisions. What to wear, what to eat, whether to respond to that message now or later. You scrolled through news that made you anxious about things you can't control. You checked emails that planted problems in your head you won't solve until Thursday. None of this was work, but all of it cost energy. In Japanese, there's a word for this kind of waste. Mottainai. It roughly translates to, what a shame to waste. Originally, it referred to physical things, throwing away food, discarding something that still has use. But the principle runs deeper. Spending mental energy on decisions that don't matter. Mottainai. Letting your mind churn over a conversation you can't change. Mottainai. Giving attention to problems that aren't yours to solve. Mottainai. Your brain doesn't separate important thinking from useless thinking. It all costs the same fuel. So while you're burning energy on small anxieties and pointless choices, you have nothing left for the work that actually matters. The fix isn't discipline, it's elimination. Cut the decisions that don't need to be made. Ignore the noise that isn't yours to carry. But even if you save all that energy, there's still one thing that drains ambitious people faster than anything else. Habit 2, the rest paradox. Guilt, not the work itself. The guilt you feel every time you stop. You sit down to take a break, and your brain immediately starts running calculations. How much time you're wasting, what you could be doing instead, what other people are accomplishing right now while you're doing nothing. So you cut the break short, you push through, and by the end of the day, you're so depleted that you can't focus on anything, including the rest you desperately need. Here's the trap. You feel guilty for resting, so you don't rest properly. And because you never rest properly, you're always half exhausted, which makes everything harder, which makes you feel like you need to work even more. The cycle never ends. In Japan, there's a practice called inemuri, roughly translated as sleeping while present. You've probably seen images of Japanese businessmen asleep on trains or in meetings. In the West, that looks like laziness. In Japan, it signals the opposite. It means you've given so much that your body demanded recovery. The difference isn't the rest itself, it's the shame around it. When you remove the guilt, rest actually works. 20 minutes without your phone, eyes closed, no justification needed. Not a reward you earn, just maintenance your system requires. You're not lazy for needing to stop. You're inefficient for refusing to. Habit 3, the comparison drain. Watching other people succeed, not competing with them, just watching, scrolling past their wins, seeing where they are while you're still stuck where you started. It doesn't even feel like jealousy. It feels like information. You're just staying aware of what's possible, right? But your brain doesn't process it that way. Every time you see someone ahead of you, a small calculation runs in the background. Why not me? What am I doing wrong? How far behind am I really? And that calculation costs more than you think. There's a Japanese phrase, ubaitori. It comes from 4 trees, cherry, plum, peach, and apricot. Each one blooms at a different time. No tree looks at another and thinks it's late. No tree tries to force its flowers open early because the one next to it already blossomed. They're not on the same schedule. Comparing them would be absurd, but you do it to yourself constantly. You compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, your quiet Tuesday to their highlight reel, your slow season to their harvest. And the worst part? This comparison doesn't push you forward. It freezes you. Why start when you're already so far behind? The truth is simpler. You're not behind. You're just not them. And the energy you spend measuring the gap is energy stolen from closing it. But knowing this isn't enough, because there's another type of mental leak, one that disguises itself as responsibility. Habit 4, the responsibility trap. You care about things you cannot change, not because you're weak, because you're wired to solve problems. When something feels wrong, your brain wants to fix it. That instinct made your ancestors survive, but now it's draining you on traffic jams, delayed flights, other people's opinions, and economies you don't control. You spend emotional currency on situations that don't accept payment. Japanese philosophy has a phrase for this. Shugenai, it cannot be helped. Not a defeated shrug, not giving up, just a clean recognition. This is outside my control, so I spend nothing on it. The weather ruins your plans. Shugenai, someone cuts you off in traffic. Shugenai, a decision gets made above your head that you disagree with. Shugenai. Each time you release instead of resist, you keep something most people throw away, the energy to act on what you actually can control. This isn't apathy, it's precision. You only have so much to spend each day. Wasting it on things that won't move no matter how hard you push is the most expensive mistake you can make. But here's where it gets interesting. The next principle might be the most important one, the one that changes how your entire day operates. But it only works if you understand something first. There's a specific type of exhaustion that has nothing to do with work, rest, comparison, or control, and it's probably costing you more than all of them combined. Habit 5, the choice tax. Every decision costs something, not just the big ones. Every single choice you make, no matter how small, withdraws from the same mental account. What to eat, what to wear, which task to start first, whether to reply now or later. By the time you sit down to do the work that actually matters, you've already spent half your budget on things that didn't. This is why your best ideas come in the shower. Your brain finally has nothing else to decide. Japanese aesthetics have a principle called kanzo, radical simplicity, not minimalism for the sake of looking clean, elimination for the sake of function. You remove everything that forces unnecessary thought. Same breakfast every morning, same clothes for the same occasions, same route to the same places. Not because variety is bad, but because every choice you automate is a choice you don't have to make. Most people think they need more willpower. They don't. They need fewer decisions. Look at your day. How many choices are you making that don't actually need to be made? How many micro decisions are bleeding you dry before you even reach the real work? Simplify the system. Protect the resource. Save your thinking for what deserves it. But even with a simplified system, there's one pattern that still traps ambitious people. A mental habit so sneaky it disguises itself as high standards. Habit 6, the perfection lie. You tell yourself you're waiting until it's ready, until the plan is solid, until you have more information, until conditions are right. But that's not what's happening. You're not preparing, you're hiding. Perfection is just procrastination in a nicer outfit. Japanese art has a principle, wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection. A cracked bowl isn't ruined, it has character. The flaw is part of its value. Your first attempt will be ugly. That's not a problem, that's the requirement. The person who ships something broken learns faster than the person who plans something perfect, because planning feels like progress but produces nothing. Action, even messy action, produces feedback, and feedback is the only thing that actually makes you better. Stop polishing what doesn't exist yet. Start ugly. Fix it later. But even when you finally move, there's one more trap waiting, and it's hiding in every free second of your day. Habit 7, the empty space. The moment you have nothing to do, you fill it. Phone out, scroll, refresh, anything to avoid the silence. But that silence is where everything important happens. Ideas, clarity, the connections your brain couldn't make while you were busy forcing it to consume. Japanese design uses a concept called ma, negative space, the pause between notes that makes music feel like music, the emptiness in a room that makes it feel calm instead of cluttered. Without ma, everything blurs together. No contrast, no room to breathe. Your mind works the same way. When you fill every gap with noise, you never give your brain space to process what it already has. You keep adding, and wonder why you feel so scattered. Boredom isn't the enemy. It's the cure. Let the space stay empty. That's where the answers come from. And that leads us to the final principle, the one that ties everything together. Habit 8, the final shift. You've been fighting yourself this whole time. Every productivity system you tried was built for someone else, someone who wakes up energized, someone who thrives on pressure, someone whose brain doesn't resist the way yours does. So you forced it, and when it didn't work, you blamed yourself. The Japanese call it ukereru, radical acceptance, not giving up, not lowering your standards, just stopping the war with your own nature. You're not broken for needing rest. You're not weak for avoiding pointless effort. You're not lazy for refusing to waste energy on things that don't matter. You're just built different, and the system needs to match. Work with short bursts, not marathons. Build around your resistance, not through it. Use leverage, automation, simplicity, anything that lets you win without burning out. Stop trying to become someone else. Start designing a life that works for who you actually are. 8 principles. 1 shift. You don't need more discipline. You need less waste. Protect your energy. Remove the guilt. Stop comparing timelines. Release what you can't control. Simplify the choices. Start before it's perfect. Let the silence exist. And above all, stop fighting the way you're built. The most effective people in history didn't work harder than everyone else. They just refused to spend themselves on things that didn't matter. Now you know what they knew. The question is what you do with it.